everyone. My name is Susan Jarboe, and with me today is Reverend Linda Burdett, also Karen Downy, and Linda Baker. And today we are going to be talking about how to be salt and light. But before we get into that, let's open with a prayer. Heavenly Parent, we come before you today in humility and faith. We thank you for all you have given us and the many blessings in our lives. We ask for your guidance and strength. Show us the way and fill us with courage and wisdom. Help us to remember your love and grace and to be faithful in our service to you. Give us the patience and understanding to face life's challenges with grace. We ask these things in your name. Amen. Some of you know that I receive mailings from the Center for Action and Contemplation, and Richard Rohr is one of the persons I frequently read to this group, and today is no exception. His goal throughout this next year is being salt and light. And so now I'm going to read a resistance position. In this homily, based on Matthew 5:13 through 16, Father Richard explores what Jesus meant by calling us to be salt and light. The great temptation of Christianity has always been to think that if we were in control, if we had power, we would win. But that's exactly what Jesus warns us against. In Matthew's gospel, Jesus tells us to be salt, not the meat, the potatoes, or even the vegetables, just the invisible but very effective salt. Salt is what gives zing and taste to food, and Jesus is calling us to be people who give purpose, meaning, and desire to life. If we look at the history of Christianity, whenever we were in charge, that's when we became the most corrupt. Christianity operates best in a resistance position, in a position where we can discern and choose how to be salt, how to be light. Likewise, the metaphor of light, as Jesus uses it here, is not controlling or forceful. As Alcoholics Anonymous says, it's not moving forward by self-promotion, but by attraction. Just set the light on the lampstand, and if it's good, and if it's real, and if it's beautiful, people will come. This is very different from what we expect. We basically think we can only move the world by being in control. Yet both of the images that Jesus offers here warn us against wanting to be in control. That is so contrary to our common sense. We think if only we had the power, if only we had the majority, we could create the kingdom of God. But it's never been true. I know from my years of traveling that when Christians are a minority in a country and they have to choose and decide to be the salt of the earth, to be light on a lampstand, they make a real difference. Jesus calls us to give the world taste, meaning, purpose, direction, desire. It's a humble position, isn't it? We'd much sooner be in charge. But whenever someone or something has all the power, they mostly misuse power. Jesus warns us against power because very few people can handle it. Most of us use it for our own aggrandizement, our own promotion and advancement in the ways of the world, which usually means more money and more power. Either we learn how to be the salt of the earth, a true alternative to the normal motivations and actions of society. Or, as Jesus put it very clearly, we might as well throw it out and trample it underfoot. We have to find our inner authority through Christ in us. We have to find our purpose in our love of God and neighbor and actions of mercy and justice. Otherwise, we're not offering anything that the world doesn't already have or can't find in other places. One of the reasons this reading attracted me is because when I was a little girl and heard the phrase salt of the earth, I had absolutely no idea what it meant. And then I learned, of course, it's a preservative. But what Rohr points out is that it has other qualities as well, that it gives tang and taste. So I open this up to the panel. Do you have any ideas about how we can become more salty or more bright? And how did this concept strike you? Linda?
Well, the concept was totally brand new to me. I thank you for bringing that up, and it's certainly a lot of food for thought, if you will. uh, I will say that I'm 75 years old, and it wasn't till really recently that I found out that it wasn't my will that was getting done. And I would pray I wanted things done this way, to be this way, or I felt like I was feeling the light of God and I should act this way. And it wouldn't happen. It wouldn't happen until I just finally surrendered. I just totally surrendered and go, okay, God, it's all in your hands. You handle it. And within a matter, to me, seemed like moments, things would change. I would change.
Reverend Linda, were you going to say something?
Yes, I really like the idea of being the salt and the light. Of course, in unity and unity teachings, it's all about be the light and let your light shine and bring more light to a situation. We don't really think about the salt, but you also talked about leadership and leadership styles. And I learned early on that if I'm the boss, the king of the corner, the one in charge, then the possibilities are only as big as one mind can make it be, as one set of experiences, one set of ideas. But if I collaborate with the divine and all the people involved, all of a sudden the possibilities expand exponentially. And there's something for me so beyond fulfilling about watching someone grow and evolve. And if I can be a part of nurturing and encouraging and lifting someone up, I think that's so much more meaningful to me than having my name somewhere, knowing that I had a part in opening a path that somebody took to become, for me, is a much, much greater achievement than just being the one who came up with the idea. And even if I do come up with an idea, if I share it with you, that idea magnifies and grows and becomes more real. And if we both get excited about it, the possibility of that idea coming into manifestation becomes so much bigger than it would have if it was just one. And as you were reading, it occurred to me that that is kind of being the salt. It's kind of enhancing what is. It's giving flavor and texture and brightness to something that would have been so much less if it wasn't shared. So I hope that made sense. I really enjoyed the reading. Just like Linda said, kind of a new concept here for me. And I'm having a lot of fun playing with it. So thank you for the topic.
Well, good.
Thank you, Susan. Wonderful topic. And I love Richard Rohr. He's like way ahead of his time, for sure. I guess just, putting out the phrase salt of the earth, like I just envision something feeding humanity, the earth, the universe, the salt of the earth. It's like eating. Taste also comes into it. Another thing that stood out was I think when we take an Epsom salt bath or Himalayan salt for removing toxins from our body, there's so many uses. Okay, so that was for the salt, but the things that came to mind as you were reading, I loved courage and wisdom, and control isn't God or divine. And now is the only place we can be, and listening to our inner authority. And I think over the last few years, especially, we're having to get more into our own inner authority and use discernment. And what has really stood out for me with all of the control stuff is that separates. So if one something is in charge, whether it's me telling everybody what to do or whatever, it separates, like Linda said, other ideas, other paths, other anythings. It excludes. And for me, it seems like I've kind of been raised with that that little control issue. It's my way or the highway, do what I say, not what I do. And now here, like Linda shared, she's 75. Well, I'm going to be 80 this week. And I have more to learn now than in the whole sum total of my 80 years. And the last 4 have really been a crash course. And I've had to learn anything that separates isn't truth. So it takes this and this to bring unity. So it goes back to that right, wrong thing. Oh my God, I got so much of that in childhood. And then especially, being raised, and I'm not shaming Catholicism because my friend Richard is a Jesuit. And somehow or another, he stepped out of some of the misteachings that I was taught. He got out of a lot of that and was able to help a lot of people discern. And he kind of chuckles in some of his writings, or when you see him in person, it is even more fun. He said, they just kind of let me do my thing and leave me alone. And I always laugh at that because he does do his thing, and he's been a gift in unity and clarity and listening to all. It's not just one way or the highway. And anything that does want to control separates. So those were the things that stood out to me. And golly sakes, there's so much to learn. There's so much to learn. And there's so many beautiful things to listen to in traditions and ancient history. Not just what we've been taught is our history. It's like there's a big universe. So I have a lot to do. Thank you for that topic.
I think we all have things that we can do. Linda, did anything else occur to you?
Yeah, it sure did. Thank you. I was listening to what everybody else said, and it made me think on an elementary level. It's just me, but an occupation, and I think like of a gardener who really doesn't get the glory for the beauty of the garden that's created, but that to me is being the salt of the earth. And I think everybody can do that in their own occupation, if I'm getting the drift. Thank you. That's beautiful. So much to think about.
Well, I appreciate your comments. And in an earlier video, Karen, you had mentioned the word authenticity. And I think being the salt of the earth is a way or a part of being authentic. I know sometimes when world events seem to be worse than ever, I have sometimes thought, well, if everybody had a Christian attitude, then, but that's never going to happen. And so I like this. It's doing the good that is ours to do. Well, thank you, everyone, for your close now. Those of you who watch us regularly are probably getting tired of this closing, but we would welcome comments or remarks from you, anything or questions. Let us know what you think of this subject matter or our ideas about this subject matter. And also, perhaps you would consider joining our panel. And you could do this just for one shot if there's something that you really care about or something that you're not sure about. Bring it to our panel, and you could come just once if that's all you want to do. Although we love having people make a commitment. If you know someone who you think might benefit from hearing about salt and light, be sure to tell them about this video or give them the link. And if you really liked us, feel free to subscribe, where you will get notices every time a new video is posted. Once again, thank you, panel. And thank you, everybody out there who has tuned into this. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us, and let's stay connected and grow in spirit. We are on Facebook. Search for Unity Church of El Cajon and follow us and like our posts. You can reach us on YouTube at Unity Church of El Cajon. Please subscribe to our channel, watch our videos, and leave comments which can help us improve. We are on the web at unityofelcajon.org. Email or call our church office to receive our weekly newsletters, which lists all of our activities and opportunities to learn and grow together.